sycamores. They are hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of years old. And you can see this root right here. This is a root, and now a branch, but we'll soon explain why. If I cut open and count the number of rungs here, there's going to be 90, 100 rungs here. This is at least 90, 100 years old. The one above it is 500 years old, and the one I'm sitting on is maybe 500 years old. The main trunk, if we would cut through the main trunk that we could see exposed to the surface, you'd find at least 700, 800 rungs. So which means the tree is at least 700, 800 years old. And where is it? It's out here in the dunes, nothing but sand all around, maximum 18, 20 inches of rainfall a year here. And what's the secret of survival? How do these trees survive? What is so remarkable about these trees is first their adaptability, and second their roots. Now let's see, how do they adapt? They adapt by way of their roots. In other words, they dig roots way into the sand, way into the sand. They go deep, 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 deep until they can find the water reserve. Because at some level, there's a water table. And they go down to the water table where no other plant could get down that deep. That's why they survive. And the second is they're adaptable. That even when part of the trunk, when the sands shift in the desert, one thing in the dune, the sands, they shift back and forward. Okay, so when the sands shift in such a way that expose the roots readapt, they become a trunk, and they send in even deeper roots. It's unbelievable. So what do we learn like this? We learn that the only future of a living entity, this teaches us a lesson. This is Hashem's classroom. The sycamore teaches us a lesson that the only way we can survive is by maintaining the viability of our roots and our source to water. That no matter how difficult it is, we have to delve until we reach the water. That's number one. Number two, that we have to find the secret of adaptability. What is the secret of adaptability that enables us to drive those roots so deep into the sand and then allow a root to become a tree trunk and a tree trunk to become a root? This is crazy. This is all Hashem's secrets. And we see this in an amazing lesson. It's an amazing lesson. It's all about the Jewish people. Our survival depends on our roots. And we have, just like shifting sands, it's not always good. Sometimes we have, all through history, periods of anti-Semitism, periods of pogroms, Inquisition, Holocaust. We always have to adapt. We have to adapt. And sometimes the trunk gets cut off and they have to send in deeper roots, and the roots become a trunk, just like the sycamore. Just like the sycamore. And what is the secret of that adaptability? The secret of the adaptability is emunah. Emunah enables us to drive the roots, because when someone doesn't have emunah, then all of Judaism becomes meaningless. It becomes a series of obligations, meaningless obligations. But as soon as you have emunah, they're not meaningless obligations anymore. It's service to my Father in heaven, our divine, loving Almighty, our divine Creator. And it makes a whole different dimension. Everything you do, you have a smile on your face, you have initiative, you have motivation, and this enables you to drive your roots. So what do we learn from this? The most important thing we could teach our children is emunah. If we don't teach our children anything else, and we teach them that there's Hashem in Shamayim, there's one God in heaven, and that He alone did, does, and will do, we teach the 13 principles of what we believe in, but the Rambam codifies them, that every single child should know them by heart, backward and forward. Okay, this is our roots. This enables us to continue to drive the roots in. And where do the roots go? They go to the water. This is what the Gemara says. Hevi olech l'mayim. And what's the water that enables us to survive in any climate? That's the Torah. Well, sometimes, especially in modern society, when everybody says, oh, the Torah is antiquated, it's outdated, heaven forbid, heaven forbid. So we have to go through deeper, we have to go through shifting sands to get down to that wellspring of our life. This is our life force. Our life force is from the Torah. Because without the Torah, the Jewish soul, the neshama, just dries right up. And then we become another statistic like all the other nations in the world that came, but it's got to be like the sycamore. The sycamore is customary to the land of Israel, especially here in the Negev. Why? Because of its adaptability, and it's because of its deep roots. And we have to be adaptable to any climatic condition in the world, and that's with emunah. We know now with Israel, the political situation in America, the anti-Semitism, it's all over. You don't have to go to America for anti-Semitism. There's plenty of it here. We could see politicians trying to gain a couple of votes by making one Jew hate another Jew. It's terrible. It's terrible. We don't want to go there. We have to hold on to the Torah no matter what anybody says, no matter what it is. Torah never goes out of style, just as our roots never go out of style. This is our life. This is our future. These are our children, right here, right here. So this is what we do. If you do anything, sit down with your kids, teach them Emunah. And you know how the best way to teach a child Emunah? Parental example. When a parent, the mother and father, strengthens himself in Emunah. And what's the number one way to strengthen yourself? You ask for Hashem. You can't get Emunah from the supermarket. You have to get it from Hashem. Okay, so Hashem, help me strengthen my Emunah. Hashem, help me have a daily meeting with you. Hashem, be with me. And you ask Hashem to be with you, and He's certainly going to be with you. Amen. God bless, and all your heart's wishes for the best. We love you, and so does Hashem.